Hello and welcome to the Virtual Jewish Thought of the Week. This is Rabbi Dan Lewin speaking to you from Dallas, Texas. Today we're going to discuss the idea of humility and arrogance. This week we are in the second to last Torah portion of Vayikra, the book of Vayikra, Leviticus, and the name of the parsha is called Bahar. Bahar means a mountain. The next parsha is going to be called Bechukoisai, which means my statutes. Now this opens up a discussion for the ideas of arrogance and humility due to the names sending a certain image or message. The idea of Bahar, of a mountain, has to do with self-assertiveness, accomplishment, greatness, power. The idea of Bechukoisai, which are statutes, are those types of mitzvahs that defy logic. There are different types of commandments. There are those commandments which make perfect sense. There are those commandments which we don't understand. Now it says that each play a certain role in our character. Those that we have to work, that we can understand logically, refine our intellect. So we use our logic to understand the details and the significance. Those that defy logic work on our loyalty, our ability to be humble and say, I'm going to do something even when I don't understand. So what comes out of these two names is that on the one hand you have the title Bahar, be a mountain, be strong. On the other hand you have an opposite message, Bechukoisai, which is humility. Now the question is, how do these two things fit together? They would seem like two opposites. On the one hand, in order to accomplish, to be great, to be a mountain, you have to be strong, you have to be confident. Humility sends the opposite message. But what we're taught, Zohar makes an interesting statement that these two things are actually dependent on each other. In other words, the more humble one is, the more one can accomplish, can be great. The Zohar makes a statement, the Ihu Rav Zahir. He who is great is small. The Ihu Zahir Rav. And he who is small is great. Now what does that mean? That the more one feels that he or she is insignificant, the greater they will be, the more they will accomplish. One who senses that they are great, is looking for credit, is paying attention to the self, feels that they are significant, the smaller they will be, the less that they will actually accomplish, the lower they will fall. Now this statement requires a lot of explanation because it would seem to be the opposite. It would seem that I know plenty of people that are very arrogant and confident and self-assertive, and that's what really gets one through in life. People that are humble are more weak and meek, and if you don't feel you're significant, so you're never going to really get off the ground and do anything. And this leads us to redefine the idea of humility and the idea of strength or arrogance. Humility is not like some people may think, oh, well, I let people step on me, I have low self-esteem. And being strong is not necessarily being arrogant. In fact, the more humble one is, the stronger they can eventually be. The more self-assertive in a true way they can actually be. The one defining quality of humility, which is the opposite of arrogance, is the idea of paying attention to the self. When somebody is arrogant, the vector is pointed completely inward. They are self-absorbed. They're looking over their shoulder all the time to monitor their accomplishments, to see what people think. Am I okay? Did I do it? And it prevents them from paying attention to other people. And ego comes with a lot of baggage. You're dragging with you this whole self-evaluation. Humility is the opposite. It frees one. It makes one light. To be humble means I know my strengths, I know my virtues, I know my weaknesses, but I'm not deluding myself. I know who I am, But at the same time, I can recognize that these are God-given gifts. I'm grateful. And I know that I always have to accomplish more. So the idea of humility is the opposite, not paying attention to oneself, not looking for credit all the time. The vector is pointed outwards. So returning to the original idea, the more humble one is, the lighter one is, the freer one is, and the more one can actually accomplish. One can be self-assertive, strong in one's ideas, but just not looking for credit, not paying attention all the time to oneself. This is true humility that will lead to greater accomplishment. That's also, to end off, the idea of why it says that humility, the quality of humility and the quality of happiness are very much linked to each other. That a person that is truly humble can be truly happy. Why? Because when one removes the ego, when one practices not paying so much attention to the self, monitoring oneself, looking for credit, approval from other people, what one does is one frees up the soul to actually be light and accomplish more. And this idea of expansion of the soul, when you release the soul and she's free, is the exact same quality of being happy. That's what true happiness is, the expansion of the soul. So what we've done is we've redefined humility, redefined the idea of strength, and how they connect to each other and to the idea of happiness. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. If you like this, forward it to anyone you think would be interested. And if you would like to sponsor a Thought of the Week, email me at the address below, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.